Welcome to another edition of the Telling on Myself podcast,
where we tell it all,
but we ain't doing no snitching.
Do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And if you are one of our actual audio listeners, anywhere that you listen to podcasts, make sure that you rate us.
You don't want to do nothing else. Just subscribe. Everybody can't come.
They can't.
Tell me some more. What's up? Some more. What's up? Everybody can't come. What does that even mean?
That means a whole lot of things. But I think the main thing it is for me is that we like, especially as like Black people and people of color, we like to, when we're starting something new and like we're seeing some success, we want to like look at the people around us and we want to bring them up with us. And I think that especially because they say like, especially for Black people, they'll say, oh, you know, Black people are the type where they won't, like once they get in the room, like they won't extend the hand down or whatever. So now I feel like more and more people are trying to, you know, extend the hand down. But the issue with that is not everybody can come. Everybody can't come. And the reason why I say that is because one, we try to like create positions for people that aren't already doing the thing. And we're trying to make it like let's say like I'm in real estate and I have a friend who's never done real estate in her life, but she's one of my close friends. So I really want her to come up with me. So I create a position for her, or I create something for her to do. She doesn't have a lot of expertise or maybe even have the interest to do this, but yet, you know, she wants to come up because it's whatever. And then you start seeing all kinds of issues, productivity issues, things falling through the cracks and a slew of issues. And then it creates tension between the relationship that you have with that person, or it just like creates issues in your business, or it leaves a bad taste in someone else's mouth. And now it's your reputation because of somebody that you tried to like extend the hand down. So I would say that it's better to have, like, we can still look for people that look like us to be in the things that we're diving into and wanting to bring people up with us. But we should probably look at people that are already kind of doing the thing that we're doing, or a person that would fit that bill way better than trying to force one of our family members or close friends just for the mere fact of like, oh, well, like, I just want to bring my people up with me kind of thing. Have you ever had a situation where you try to like bring somebody up with you and then it didn't work out? Or
oh yeah. Several. It almost made me resent my own people. People who look like me, color folks. But before I jumped the gun though, I had to realize after I did a little introspection, I was like, dang, it really was on me. I really kind of set myself up for the okie doke, because now what I've learned is that it's not enough for me to be in the beginning stages of, let's just say, success or trying to establish success or start a business or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's not enough for me to be in the beginning stages of starting something and trying to be the one to pull my people up to like help me out and stuff at that point. I've realized that it would be more advantageous for me. Let's just say if I was starting a business, it would be more advantageous for me to holler at like other current business owners, people who are doing much better than me, so that I can still be basically learning to solidify my foundation. And then once my foundation is laid and is made, then at that point, now, I got a partner that I think would be good for accounting. Okay, bet. I got, a homegirl that, is good at fixing roofs. I don't know why. I don't know why roof was the example, but yeah, okay, I'm using her to fix that roof. So yeah, but
do you think we jumped the gun? That's the thing. Like, I think sometimes that's a pretty valid point. I like that you said that, because it's actually pretty true. Like, I think we tend to jump the gun on things. Like, we just got an LLC and we think an LLC does not mean that you got a functioning, running business. It just means that you registered your business with the state and with the country.
So LLC, other than that, it don't mean nothing?
LLC, we gonna see.
Like what you gonna see? Okay. So like what good does an LLC do in just
nothing?
Okay, so if an LLC don't do nothing, then what good is a DBA?
That's even worse.
Extra nothing.
Yeah,
like nothing
that's-
senior, huh?
All right.
Well, you crazy. But nah, I feel you. Nah, that's true though. That's true. That's right. Like a lot of people be excited about the LLC. See, and that be a part of the problem. This is why we be so eager to try to help others at the most critical moments when we really should be helping ourselves, is because we just real excited.
Exactly.
I'm so excited to have this LLC, and this LLC should mean I'm fixing to start me a business that's gonna be successful or whatever. But
Yeah, Treats by Toya or something. It's like, get out of here.
what?
Treats by Toya. Like you put some like
Oh.
strawberry chocolate strawberries. You put some chocolate covered strawberries and you sell them on Instagram, like on Valentine's season or whatever. And now you think you have a whole full functioning
Yeah, you
running
a business
business.
now.
You done changed. You done taken your personal IG page, changed your name, like made it all. And it's like, dude, no, like there's so much more thought that needs to come into a business plan per se. Like, how are you gonna get people to fund you and like help? There's so many things, but I think a lot of it is just lack of education and lack of resources.
Man, dog, that's crazy, because it basically make me think of, like, I know so many people that are current business owners,
LLC holders.
sure, and it's interesting because they try to talk like they know, kind of like, we'll just call it like the business owner lingo, so to speak. It's like they try to talk like they know some lingo.
KPIs and what
Yeah,
are you
all the
talking
basic-
about?
yeah, SEO, yeah, just all
Right.
kind of whatever.
CEO, CMO, CTO.
So like they try to have somewhat of like the business owner kind of lingo or whatever. And to me, at this point in the game, that can be a telltale sign. Like, you might not be, because like legit business owners that I know in this day and age right now, like they don't talk like that. They talk very regular and just kind of, just regular. Like they don't talk like they're trying to impress you or
Right.
trying to really like convince you
Yeah.
or something. But
that's the privilege that we have of being in the game. And we gonna tell on ourselves a little bit real quick, because I don't want you to think that I'm just making fun of people that get excited about getting an LLC, because
we were getting excited. Well, okay, she gonna try to throw me under the bus. She called it telling on herself, but she really finna try to tell on me. Like,
no,
that's cool.
I wasn't even gonna tell that story. But
Boy,
anyways,
you a
I wasn't even gonna
hater.
tell that story. First of all right, well now,
Right,
okay.
we didn't even have time to get the business off the ground, really. So all I could do was be excited about the LLC only.
So when I met this fool, we were first started dating, and he was working in insurance, I was working in apartments. We were two regular, like we were just working our regular jobs, right? But we've always had big dreams. We always wanted to do things. And I remember we were sitting in the apartments that we lived at. Well, I just worked at those apartments. I didn't live there yet, but I was like hanging out at your place, and you lived, like, your apartment had that thing that your balcony backed into that courtyard that had the fireplace or whatever. So we're sitting at the fireplace and we're just chilling, feet kicked up, and he's like, yeah, man, I got my LLC, we gonna be good. And in my mind I was like, why does he think, like, I wonder what he got going on? He got an LLC, he's so excited. And the more I'm like hanging out with him and I'm seeing, like, what they're doing, and it's like him and a few friends that take out this LLC for like wholesaling and real estate. And it's funny now, to look back, because we've built a whole house now in real estate. We've become real estate developers, which is a kind of a full circle moment. But
and it's real funny because we really was on to a real good idea, because now I know a bunch of folks that took out LLCs to start a wholesaling business and turned it into something bigger than just wholesaling, just
Right.
as is. Like, they offer multiple services. And I think me and my partners, we was on our way. We just didn't have time. But boy, you a hater. We was on our way to that, and they just kind of, because we didn't stick with it, they beat us to the punch. Now they making some good money.
yeah, and I think that God does everything for a reason, because again, like I said, full
He
circle.
used you to talk us out of having an LS. Man,
No, he did
All
not
right.
use me for none of that. But in a full circle moment, we have been able to, now we have wholesalers reaching out to us like, hey, are you guys looking for properties to buy?
Yeah.
We're no longer, starting at wholesaling, because wholesaling is one of the things that you can do to start in real estate, because
right.
it doesn't take much of like capital and stuff. It's just
Any
really,
really not.
it just takes the gift of
yeah,
gab, really.
yeah.
Like,
Pretty much, and some connections, like being a people person. if anybody really interested in like wholesaling to be a starting point for real estate, not to make it sound no type of way or nothing, but like you really can make some really good money.
Absolutely. And if you're listening out there, and if you watch us and you really want to like get into it and you don't know how to get funding or anything like that, we got you on that as well. We'll have it linked somewhere in our bio with the same people that took a chance on us. Texas Funding Solutions.
Shout out to Texas Funding Solutions. Insert the applause noise.
Yes.
Yeah, shout out to Texas Funding Solutions.
Yes.
Anybody looking to get into real estate, especially if you're in the state of Texas, anywhere from Orange to Dallas to El Paso to the Rio Grande Valley. We can get you taken care of.
They'll get you that funding, and they took a chance on us whenever we didn't have a lot of projects underneath our belt. We just had like maybe one house under our belt that we had flipped, and like a few properties like commercial and stuff like that. But anyway,
we had the first house in South Dallas with a football field.
Okay, y'all. Just for that, I'm going to insert a picture.
Bro, don't do that.
I'm going to insert a picture. He was so hell-bent.
I was hell-bent on saving money, and the turf that I got.
You wanted turf. I wanted turf.
And that was the cheapest turf. I didn't realize they was going to have
football lines.
The Dallas Carter Mustangs in the middle of the...
He's talking to the guy. He's talking to the guy, and the guy's like, yeah, I have turf. This one is this price, and then this one is much cheaper, but it's gonna have like some football lines on it. And he's like, oh, that's all good. It shouldn't be a big deal. Mind you, the property that we had a ginormous backyard and a good, decent sized front yard. And Lily Beth, if you're watching or listening, you know what we're talking about. That's our realtor. And when I tell you that he pulls up with like, our workers and stuff with the crew, and they start rolling out this, turf. And I'm looking at it. There's lines everywhere.
Them boys had hash marks, everything. I'm thinking he just meant straight lines. Nah, it's lines all over the place.
All kinds of stuff.
We was on the 30-yard line actually, next to the mailbox.
They took this stuff off a football field straight on to South Dallas. But anyway, I wasn't even going to tell none of that story. I wasn't even going to throw you under the bus. I was more going to talk about the things that we've taken out, like ourselves. Like we've taken out multiple LLCs. We had, like we mentioned in a previous episode, a trash valet company. We've taken out other LLCs for, I took out an LLC years ago called like Silverport, Puerto Plata for, Dominican Republic. Management services.
Yeah, what was you gonna be doing with that?
I don't freaking remember what I was trying to do, but I remember the name, and they sent me like LegalZoom sent me like a big old packet with like a folder and like a binder. Like I was gonna be doing all this serious business. Yeah, and I don't know what I was thinking, but
she thought that LLC was magic.
Exactly.
That's why she was trying to get on me so hard.
No,
really.
Because I learned my lesson. I knew that me taking an LLC, I paid like $600-700 from LegalZoom. LegalZoom is pretty expensive, especially if you get all the things that they're like, oh, it's only $299 to start your LLC. And then as you're like paying, they're like, do you want to add this? Hey, do you want a registered agent? Hey, do you want this?
I never quite understood that about you. Like I never really thought you was that person, and then I literally figured out you was that person.
What is that person?
Right, you literally buy. Listen, if I send you to buy this $299 package, it should not come out to $600.
Well, sometimes.
Hey, do you want some tamales with that package? You don't even need tamales.
I will pay for convenience every single time, and that's my issue. That's my problem. Because if LegalZoom is telling me, hey, don't forget, you don't need to keep up with these reports, and I'm over here, I don't want to be thinking about random reports throughout the year. If they can go ahead and do the thing and file whatever they need to file for me, I will pay that extra $199 a year.
You talking about for the extra
all that extra money that I had done pay.
Like insurances and all that?
Everything.
But, okay, well, why the tamales?
I don't know, because I'd be hungry.
It's cool.
But you can get excited about LLCs and everything else, but if you don't have a plan, all that to say, a lot of those LLCs didn't end up working out. Why? Because there wasn't no plan. There wasn't a true belief in doing the thing. Normally, we get excited because we're going to make some money. And it's like, that's cool. Making money is great. But like, I really do believe when you have a passion behind something, it just works out all the better. Like, every single time.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, you definitely have to look. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
You were telling me that story, but I done cut you off a bajillion times.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, I wasn't gonna say nothing.
My bad.
But yeah, a lot of people go into things thinking that they can just kind of just jump into it, and they never properly plan. They never sit down and have any type of real strategy or tact about them. So they go into something, and then things that they didn't expect bust them upside their head a couple times. You know, they pull a Crawford on them real quick, and now all of a sudden they sink because they weren't prepared. You got blindsided because you didn't do your due diligence of research beforehand. You know, to really set yourself up for like the best possible outcome, really. But going back to your very first question, have I ever been in a situation where I basically got burned for trying to help somebody in the beginning stages of something that I was doing? Absolutely. And over the course of 12 months, it probably cost upwards of, I know, at least probably about 30.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least 20 to 30,000 for sure.
Easily, for sure. Like, shoot, 1 month, you know, dished out like 6 here, you know, 45 here, 2 months, you know. So yeah, right. But yeah, man, people be acting crazy. Like, you know, you try to give them opportunity. Now again, I said that it was on me. It was my fault. I should have done better in the beginning. However, I'm gonna still get to the story. So yeah, people be acting crazy, man. Like, man, like we had this one situation where we got a bid to do some contracting work for a potential client. And so I pull a partner in, and I'm like, say, I can bring you in on this deal that we got from a client that we have, and we can work together. We'll provide the materials, like, etc., everything. You just bring your expertise. And so, long story short, this is how my people do. And see, if this was just an isolated incident, you know, I could have did like Jay-Z and I could have brushed it off my show. But like, man, like my people keep doing stuff like this. So anyway, remember, our potential client, our potential contract, our materials, our resources, we front money, like, etc. They just bring themselves and whatever skills they come with. So I'm like, hey, we scope out the job, and I'm all about doing fair business. And so we scoped the job out, and the potential client needed an estimate. So I said, okay, cool, let me get the estimate to you. So I reach out to Buddy. We step aside. We kind of go chop some numbers. So I'm like, okay, so as far as like the split, what do you think the split should be? They say, oh, shoot, percentage wise. Oh, okay, it's split. They say, I'll be cool. They say, I'll be cool with a 70-30 split. So I'm thinking, oh, wow, they really see eye to eye. And they was like, yeah, I'm the 70, y'all the 30. Oh, what? Hold on, wait a minute. Our potential
we were out eating, and I said,
like, I said,
this fool is crazy,
bro.
Like, delusional.
Our client, our resources, our bid, like our
like
everything.
You're basically an employee, like you, and we're not even treating you as such. Like we have you at the table, we're breaking bread with you, like we're literally asking you, like, hey, like, what do you think? Because you're the one. We're asking you because we're bringing you on because you have the expertise. You know how to do the manual labor stuff.
One more thing. Now we got, at the time, probably 2 more people that has this same expertise.
Literally.
This is just a partner.
We was trying to put somebody, we was trying to bring somebody up with us, like literally. And I was just totally shocked.
Flabbergasted.
Even to the point where, you know, even using our vehicles, like using our trucks, I mean, everything. It's like, y'all are tripping. Like, that's the thing. When you give them an inch and they want to take a mile, and then they want to act like they're just because they're bringing an expertise or something, one thing, and you're literally bringing the other 9 things out of the 10, and they think that their thing is more valuable. But it's like, without this opportunity,
you get zero.
You wouldn't be able to do your expertise.
You wouldn't even be in this place that we at. Like, literally, they got people at the front. You got to check in. Yeah, sir, you in the wrong place. Get out of here.
Exactly.
I didn't show my.
And that's another thing too. Like, I feel like also on top of that, like with bringing people on, it's like also trying to get people that it's better to get people that are already trying to do something. Like whenever you see them trying, you see them doing. And it's always the people that are never doing anything already. They're just kind of like just lollygagging through life and just doing
Man.
whatever. And we see them and we're like, man, you
Oh,
know
I feel
what?
so bad for him, man. Man, that's my partner. Man, we used to.
Yeah, we used to do this and we used to go to school or we used to do this. Now I want to give this person a chance. Not saying that not everybody is worthy of a chance, even if like, or worthy of a chance, even if they're like not doing anything at the time. But I think it always works out all the more better. Like I have been humbled and I have reached out. Like I was reaching out to an agency one time before I really started getting into like content creation, being a full-time influencer or whatever. I had reached out to this agency, Kensington Gray, and they're huge right now. I'm still looking at you,
She
Kensington Gray.
name dropped them.
We weren't supposed to.
I don't know. I don't know nothing.
No, it's cool.
I ain't telling nothing.
No, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. So like Kensington Gray, they're a really big agency for content creators, Black content creators and creators of color in particular. And I remember I had maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 80,000 or 100,000 like followers on TikTok, but I had maybe like 10 on Instagram. And this was before TikTok was really being taken really seriously. And I had reached out and they were like, yeah, you really need to have like at least like 100,000. That's kind of like what we're looking for because, you know, they were an agency that was trying to elevate and trying to like have really hard hitting creators. So I don't blame them for that. Like that's just the game. So I could have gone to a smaller agency, which I ended up doing, but they basically told me come back when you're at this level. And I can respect that because they would rather take on people that are serious about what they're doing. Like you can't always control algorithms. You can't control how many people follow you, but if you keep
You can
at it,
control that effort though.
you can control the effort. And if people see you and then like, you know, eventually, you know, now I have 500,000 followers on TikTok and I have 33,000 on Instagram, and I'm not sure if I still fit the bill for them or not or whatever, but I know that I had to keep going. And then as I kept going, I had another agency reach out to me and they're like, hey, like we would love to manage you. And it was Tristan. And I was like, hey, let's do it. And I've been with Tristan ever since. But
Even with that smaller agencies, oh, sorry not to cut you off while I'm cutting off. Even with that smaller agency though, within a year's time, I mean, you still brought in 6 figures though.
hey, I sure did.
So, I mean,
And you know, we've been focusing on growing more and even like our content together, because one thing people don't know about like just content creation in general, like if you have a partner, if you're married, if you have a dog, you know how many different ways that you can like create content. We can like make Judah his own dog page and make money.
Yeah.
We could do couples content and make more money. There's always ways to grow. So if you're serious about your stuff, be serious. And like the people that are looking for those people that are putting in the effort, those are the people that are going to gravitate towards you and grab you and try to do that, you know, extending of the hand. But the people that you know how many people DM me, can you just help me be a content creator? I want to be like you.
no, I'm just joking.
Meanwhile, they keep deleting their page every 3 days. They keep deleting all their content. They keep disappearing for months at a time. It's like you have to be consistent. And
Back in the day, that mysterious thing, trend, or whatever you want to call it, that you know, that's how people felt like that's what celebrities did. Oh, they don't post all the time. They don't
Yeah.
follow but 8 people.
be honest, she
just-
follow nobody.
Yeah, I'm be like that.
and
They
that's
thought that was cool,
And yeah.
and they could get you like deals or something, I guess.
I think it's like the whole like mysterious, like, ooh, like I'm just going to post every once in a while because I'm out in the world actually living or whatever. And
I hear you.
that don't work no more. You
Not
actually
for
have
brands.
Heck nah. You got to be consistent.
Yeah.
And that just goes back to what we were talking about. Like brands only want to work with people that are consistent, that they see that are doing the work. We want to work with people and collaborate with people and bring people up that are already doing the work.
Yeah, for sure.
Period.
Yeah. It seemed like that things generally tend to work out the best when you do it that way. Like, cause at the end of the day, like, let's just say, okay, we starting up a business. We're not starting a large business. We're
Right.
generally starting a small business, right? Okay, cool. So we got a small business going. So at the beginnings of like a small business, it takes a whole lot of effort in a lot of different areas, depending on, you know, what the business is. But generally, any small business is going to take a lot of effort in a lot of different areas. You learning things that you don't know, you learning things that aren't necessarily your expertise. So like, let's say, you know, the bulk or the core of the business is your expertise, but all the other things that it takes place that needs to take place to run the business successfully, those may not be your expertise. It's definitely good to work with somebody else who also has like a small business as well.
Right.
So that way, let's say, okay, well, my expertise is this, your expertise is that. Now when we start collaborating,
That's the word.
first off, it seems like it takes people who are actually serious about starting a business. It seems like it takes people like that in order for a collaboration to really work. Like there's extreme power in collaborating, especially now in an ideal situation. It would be amazing if I could collaborate with a lot of my people. You know what I'm saying? Like if they all had something going on, let's say they all had small businesses in different realms or whatever, and we could all work together and like balance each other and work each other out, because now, us in small parts, we make one big whole,
Right.
and everybody could eat, everybody could benefit. But it's like, no, man, I want to make the most money. Oh man, no, man, this I want to get the shine. Or why so and so get to play that part and I can't play?
Yeah, people get greedy. And that's another thing too. Like people say that they want to collaborate, but once they get into that collaboration, they realize that again, they either deal with certain things of like jealousy or envy, or like, oh, they really want the shine, or they don't want to like share the actual, like once everything is done and everyone collaborates and everyone does everything that they're going to do and the thing just comes to life, then that one person wants to be like, oh, I did all this, I created all this. They like start leaving people behind, or they don't pay people what they're worth, or they're like, that they just start being all
Try
finicky.
to do shady business, try to, undercut and all of that, and thinking that they won't get fun.
Man, and that's happened to us, and we say it because it's happened. Like,
I mean, you also got like, that's assuming that the business turns into something. I mean, there's also situations where you could collaborate with people and you see that their work ethic sucks. Like they're just trash, like with timeliness. They can't get stuff, done on time or correctly or whatever, or they just work sloppy. So maybe you could actually get it done, but they just so sloppy with it that it's like, man, I would much rather a cleaner presentation, a cleaner work situation or whatever than this. So you know what I'm saying?
or like whenever we've done collaborative works that we're the ones that have less knowledge of the thing, and we're relying on these people to guide us or teach us or put us on or whatever, and they're just kind of going to the beat of their own drum, not really paying, and we're just like staying behind and not really knowing what's going on. And one thing that I know we both hate, especially as a unit but separately as well, we hate to be at the mercy of other people.
Oh my goodness, yeah, buddy. Yeah.
I know you hate that the most. Like just being at the mercy of other people. Ooh.
Nah, because people ain't go. Man, look, I understand as the days go by. I understand more and more when people say like, man, ain't nobody else gonna take care of your stuff like you will. Oh my goodness, ain't nobody gonna take care of your stuff as good as you, whether it's your anything. And like having to learn that firsthand, being at the mercy of other folks, that's a humbling experience for sure.
Shoot, I'm gonna say one more story real quick before we take off, because I really like this was something that cost us so much money. Are we gonna talk about it?
About how much money? $27,846.79 worth of money out of pocket.
Yes.
Bruh.
Do you want to tell the story?
I'll tell the story. Carelessness, dog. Like, so another reason why you kind of have to like watch watch the people that you work with, dog, especially when you're trying to go into like collaborations or partnerships of any kind, especially if you're in a field that, let's say, you have interest in and you're trying to grow in and gain more knowledge, etc. You just have to be a student at all times and be willing to learn things on your own independently while also learning collectively, like with the person or people or whoever, like in real time. Because you got to stay sharp because you have to watch everything. So anyway, long story short, the situation was we was building a house and we hired out some contractors to assist with the project. And what ended up happening was one of the people in the group,
I would say it was multiple people that were at fault. Let me interject real quick so it doesn't, because I feel like this was something in this whole collaboration, we knew less about what we were about to jump into. It was the very first house that we were going to build, right? So
new,
yeah, brand new. We've done other stuff, but this was the first new build. So we had never really worked with like budgets, like how much thing costs or whatever.
Well, we work with budgets, but not that type of budget because it's a huge difference between building new and just remodeling a house, like for sure, because you're gonna have budgets on both,
right,
regardless. But
that's true. That's true. So just like a budget for, we had never seen these numbers before. We didn't know how much these things generally cost because again, it was our first time. So between the contractors, between lenders, between broker, we had multiple people all looking at one document, and nobody thought to just even stop and look. There was one line item that was very important.
Bruh, not even the underwriter. Now, again, an underwriter is somebody that's going to examine the document before they approve or deny. And they basically go over whatever document you have that an underwriter is going over. And they're going to essentially make sure that nothing critical is missing.
Yes. So the underwriter, so first of all, they told us, y'all bring the budget. So we bring the budget. Mind you, we didn't write the budget because this was the first time. So it was the contractors brought a budget in. Then the other people, the brokerage and the underwriting and the lender, they're all supposed to look at the budget, make sure that everything is accounted for, that everything makes sense, that we are counting the cost, that every single thing that we are going to spend is going to go into the house and it's going to, whatever's going to work out. Nobody thought to think that there was a line item that was literally zero. There was no money amount. There was no number, no nothing on the line item for roof.
And like,
what does a house need?
Yeah, I haven't seen too many people living in pergolas.
Okay.
Like, but yeah, that was a critical line item. Now, in any circumstance where you're going to have to basically install a roof for the first time or even repair a roof or replace or whatever, that's crucial in general. And if it's not accounted for even to the smallest degree, like the cheapest roof that you can get, like that's still a lot of money to just be coming out of pocket,
right,
in any circumstance. Now, this circumstance here, it was a little different because it wasn't just a regular roof. It was a TPO roof. For those who don't know what a TPO roof is, that's a commercial grade roof that's generally put on
and it's
flat surfaces, like tall skyscraper, like buildings, commercial buildings. Normally, basically, yeah. It's all commercial. So not only was it a TPO roof, but I ain't gonna shout out to the architect.
Yeah, that
shout out to her. Listen, tomorrow around 4:30, do me a favor. It's some traffic. I want you to
stop.
I'm just joking. So listen, with this roof, the interesting part is it was TPO, so it was a commercial grade roof. So commercial is always going to be more expensive than residential, for one. And on top of that, the house, the way that the final design came out, it had 3 levels of roof that was going to have to be accounted for. So, yeah, so that was a headache in and of itself. Because also another thing to mention that was that the materials at the time that we were building this particular house,
high.
Yeah, the materials was like crazy high.
That was like 2021 back when early 2022 when we bought all the materials, and that's when everything was like sky high. Like lumber went from $5 to $15 for like the same amount that you could get, and all kinds of metals and everything else was super, super expensive. So not only, that's another thing too.
Yeah,
like
I was about to say, like, as far as that budget is concerned,
yeah,
that was a huge mistake also. So like this project was projected to, let's just say, start in April, And so the budget needs to be good and ready to go by April. Well, the initial budget that was made, we made it the November prior. And this was one of the contractors that we hired to make this budget.
And nobody thought to update this and get,
for some reason, like now, cost of material, regardless of the inflation, like shooting through the roof at the rate that it was at the time, like the cost of materials can change every 30 days. So it's definitely likely to change within like 5 months for sure. So the first big mistake was not updating the budget.
right.
And that person was just like, oh, no, it's good.
Right.
So we were over budget on several areas in general. So we already coming out of pocket. Like the lumber, we went over budget lumber like 15K.
15,000, yeah.
So we already like,
but we
dang.
had like we had moved around, we had rearranged the budget to make up for that.
As much as we could. We were still over on several areas.
But had we just done that and that would have been it, that would have been something to bite and whatever.
Yeah, because that happened to most people.
But then the roof, whenever we didn't figure out the roof until like by the time we got to, it was time to put on the roof on the house. So like the framing was up, the walls, everything was up, and now it was time to close it. This was the last thing that we needed to pass an inspection to be totally what they call closed in. And then that's when we that was the bridge that you get to it, or that's the bridge that you come to when you get to it, or whatever they call it. Like that was our big bridge in that situation, and we had to dish out $27,000 from our own pockets, and in the long run, it ended up eating at our profits like way more than it ever should have. It never should have. It should have been a budget. It should have been inside of the budget, and that's the issue whenever when you collaborate and you're at the mercy of other people and you have no idea, like, and then nobody wants to take the fault either. Like the architect didn't want to take a fault for things that she left out and mistakes that she made. The contractors didn't want to take faults in anything. The underwriters didn't want to take faults. Broker didn't want to take a fault.
Yeah,
nobody.
We couldn't readjust the budget in real time, like, because, hey, lending company, like, we need a roof. Like,
right.
Come on, bro.
Right.
And
on top of the fact, they're like, oh, well, your loan is only 6 months. And I'm like, well, you guys only gave us 6 months. Oh, y'all could have chosen 12. Nobody told us this. So it's like, it's just a lot of things that you don't know when you don't know it. And it's no one's fault that you don't know it. It's just, it's up to you to like do the research and find out, and
ask the questions that you don't think about. How do you do that?
Exactly. You can't do that because you don't know until you get to the situation and you're like, wow.
Unless you do really like diligent research, and you'll start to discover, like, as you're researching, okay, well, how to do this or that or the third, and you'll start kind of like piecing things together and finding out mistakes other people have made. Like if you're literally doing your due diligence. One of the other underlying issues with that project as well was trying to both learn as well as dish responsibility off. So the whole idea was like, we're just gonna, contract, these folks out, and we're gonna push that responsibility over there, and we can focus on other things.
That was on us.
Yeah, that was definitely on us.
That was on us. That's another thing. Whenever you try to like outsource everything, you have to be really careful about outsourcing. Outsourcing does not mean that you are no longer managing a situation. Like we stopped managing the situation because we thought it was taken care of, when in reality, yeah,
it was taking care of us.
Yeah, exactly. And
golly.
And by the time that it was time to do whatever we could do, like there was nothing that could be done. We just kind of had to eat it. We had to take that one to the chin. Like for real. But we learned a lot from that situation. We prayed a lot through that situation. We, had to make a lot of calls and move things around and max out credit cards and do all kinds of stuff just to make it happen to get out of that deal.
Yeah, because we weren't really just prepared to like have, first off, another thing, doing your due diligence. I don't even know. Y'all probably could care less about building a house or whatever the case may be. However, in this, for those who may be interested, actually, with a lot of different lending companies, whenever you're taking on a house project, you have what's called draws. And so generally speaking, what should happen is, like when we're doing like if we're doing a rehab project, I can do estimates. Like let's say, okay, it's gonna cost me $5,000 to get new floors done. Well, I'm going to ask for $8,000 and they'll approve my 8. Well, it may only really cost me in reality $4,000 to get the floors done. And so with certain types of draws, they'll give you what you asked for. So I asked for 8, they gave me 8. It only cost me 4. So now I have 4 left over. So now I can take that leftover money and I can roll it towards the next portion of the project.
Yeah.
Well, this particular type of loan, which was a new lending company, etc.,
They wasn't doing none of that.
None of that. There was no.
They were like, give us receipts. It was $999.83. That's exactly what we gonna give you. They didn't give us nothing to float nowhere.
So that mean if you literally budgeted for, if something was gonna cost you $10,000 and it really cost you $12,000, like, yeah, you really spent that 12 to do your thing, and they only gonna give you back the 10 that they approved you for. Like,
right.
They're not giving you no extra, nothing. Like,
nothing extra.
And if you let's say you estimated something was gonna cost 7,000 and you really only spent 6.
It don't matter. Like, it's just crazy.
They
like,
gonna give you the 6. They not gonna give you the 7. That's crazy.
We just couldn't win. Like, we literally couldn't win. We couldn't, like, we hear all these stories about, oh yeah, you know, you finessed the game this way, and not even finessing the game, but like you worked the game. At the end of the day, if like we had a $300,000 loan, which was what we had, and you can use it whichever way. It would have been easier if they would have just gave us the lump sum and we could have just figured out how to move around and do it, but they weren't. It was draws, it was penny pinching, it was so much rigid. There was no leeway for us to like figure it out.
And it was to do it in 6 months.
Yeah,
and the contractors that we were working with didn't actually get started for real till like month 3. So now we got to get overage costs.
And we had to pay for extensions. We paid for 2 extensions. And to be honest, like our lending company, they were pretty understanding because they dropped the ball on a few things. And we went, hey, y'all dropped the ball on this. Can y'all at least work with us on like extending us another whatever? And they did. But they're not extending you for free. It was a 1% every single time that we had to extend. So,
it's only 1%, right, of 300,000.
Which is like around $3,000 every single time. So every single time we do that eats up at our profit that we're supposed to get at the end. So all in all, more stuff happened that we can get into if y'all are interested. But at the end of the day, everybody can't come, and this is the reason why. Because when you get yourself in these collaborations and you happen to be the person that doesn't have all the knowledge, and you don't count the cost because you don't know the questions to ask because you don't know what you don't know, you end up in these situations.
At the end of the day, it's all lessons learned. It ain't no real love lost. You just kind of have to go through the trials and tribulations of entrepreneurship and just learning the game, you know, whatever game you playing for, whatever category, with business or whatever the case may be.
And that's why everybody can't come.
Yeah. And I guess that is where everybody can't come. So till next time, hey, listen, be kind, show love, be gracious, and we at. Peace.